start off the conversation talking about masculinity, and touched on patriarchy, and talked about how being broke sucks. But let's introduce education into the conversation. Because it's relevant to a lot of the work that's being done by way of Dr. Girdwood with all the interviews and just talking through education and along that lens. But I like us to connect all of these ideas, and again talking about education and the role it plays in society, but also talk about how it could be a barrier to education, and we can discuss the bigger systems as to why that is, things like that. But before we do any of that, what's your earliest memory of college? Like coming out of K-12, like were a lot of people beating you on the head with expectations of attending college, or was that not a conversation at all?
I had a very unique childhood and experience in K-12 because we moved a lot.
Yeah. Right.
We moved 11 times by the time I was 16.
Okay.
And so coming into high school, middle of your sophomore year, that sucks. And so it definitely, moving so much, I didn't do a lot of the reading, I didn't read a lot of the books that, you read in K-12 and things like that. I don't even think I took my ACTs or SATs. Just because
I didn't either.
And I wasn't involved in anything, and I struggled to make friends and stuff like that, and especially because I was a weird kid, and then I moved to a very conservative southern town, and so I just struggled. But yeah, I didn't visit colleges. I didn't. There weren't people colleges that came to the school that I was aware of. But I also didn't know about AP classes, and I didn't know about all of these things. And then my family is predominantly blue collar workers. We've got, my cousin works at a butcher shop. There's lots of, people in the care economy, things like that. My dad, maintenance management, truck driver. Mm-hmm. So it was just kind of not talked about, but it was just go to college. And then when we didn't, it was meh, okay.
Okay.
It just wasn't a big deal, I guess.
Okay, and I guess why do you think that is? Obviously, you don't know the full answer, but do you have any ideas as to why you think that is, or what plays into that?
Well, I know when I was a kid, I remember my dad was doing night school at a local community college, but then he never finished. Mm-hmm. And then it was interesting because my uncle worked at CMU, and so my cousins were able to get free tuition, and neither went, which was wild to me. And I don't know if it's just where they were. I don't know if that had something to do with it, if it was just very blue collar and working class, and it's just kind of that this is just what we do, it's who we are. None of us went to college, so why would we really push that on you? Mm-hmm. And I don't think, at least for me, we were just white trash. We don't have that
expectation,
that cultural expectation where your kids are going to do better than you, and your kids are, I wasn't pushed to get straight A's and all of that stuff. And it just it was just something we did. We just went to school.
and that's for everybody, men, women?
Yeah.
Boys and girls? Okay. And can you recall does anyone have any, an undergrad at least? Dad, grandparents, cousins,
My
uncles?
dad's sister went to college.
Okay, so an aunt?
Yep,
okay.
Her kids went to college. They just graduated.
Some cousins, okay.
But her husband, she works in education. Her husband is very well educated, and so that makes sense. Mm-hmm. But yeah, other than, I don't think my brothers ever once, thought about it, mentioned it, considered it. That just, nope.
Okay.
And so, yeah. And then I just read a lot when I was a kid, or throughout my life. And so, it kind of gave me a very different perspective of, who I wanted to be as a person and blah, blah, blah. And that didn't really vibe with my family's values and morals. and then kind of separating or distancing myself from them was where I kind of started learning about college and, wanting to pursue something because what the fuck else am I gonna do? Like, I'm not a blue collar, like, I can't be in a factory. I won't know what to do.
Change your name to Joe.
Exactly. But yeah, it just wasn't. And then as I distanced myself from the family, that's when I kind of was like, oh, well, this is something that I can do. And then, of course, just continuing to read and stuff like that. And, well, how do I write about these things? And how do I get to go do that? And then, oh, they're all in academia. They're all professors. Okay, then. And, like, it just kind of started to click a little bit, I guess. And then I got day drunk one day, and I was like, let's go to college. And I applied to college. Because I'm responsible.
There you go.
Yeah. What about you, though?
It's similar and different. But real quick to reflect on everything you said. Yep. So for you, you said you guys were, I hate using the word poor.
We were poor.
Because I feel like I don't know what it means.
Like, I remember
in relation to
band was like, I always wanted to be in band, and my dad couldn't afford the instrument rental, so like we didn't get to go to band. I didn't get to go on like the big field trips, and so I also missed out on a lot of those like bonding activities with my peers, and I think that also has something to do with it. And if I'm not in like band or those AP classes and things where students really like focus on their students and how can I make you successful rather than the regular classes where they're like, nah, whatever.
So the cultural capital of school. Okay. So there's the financial aspect of it. There's the cultural capital aspect of it. There's also the proximity to, I guess, education, meaning not that many people in your immediate family were college educated.
Correct.
Except an aunt, but like and so that all makes sense to me. And my situation is I didn't move around a lot, but because I was born and raised in Norfolk, Virginia, so I never left my hometown up until I joined the military. Prior to that, raised a single mom. It was just us and my older brother. He's like 8 years older than me.
Oh, mine too.
There you go.
Not much of a sibling relationship there.
So mom didn't go to college. Cousins, stuff like that. My cousins and aunts and uncles, they all are college educated, but we weren't around them a lot, especially as I got older. School, no one was beating was beating college up across my head or anything like that. And my grades weren't that good, but I think that's because I had undiagnosed ADHD, which could be another aspect of that. And so I think I was just ignored. And so that's how I ended up in the military, because you hear college a lot, like that's just the thing. You graduate, go to college, get a job, get married, do the whole thing, the American dream kind of thing. But when that's broken, no one really tells you alternatives or another path or like, hey, it's going to be okay, because no one does that. They just say,
do you think the military filled that role for you? Like nobody's seeking me out for colleges, but damn, the military is knocking on my door. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, and plus, I think I had more proximity to the military than I did to college. Because my older brother, uncles, a lot of people served in the military. So that was the option for me. I knew they would pay for it, and I would just figure it out later on. And I did a few courses while I was in, but again, I think it was that undiagnosed ADHD. Just struggled. Then I retired and was like, all right, well, this is definitely the time to get involved in my education and take this thing serious and learn more about the world and things like that. And it was when I started attending UM Flint and I got in the environment, I got in the classes, I got around other people and had these conversations and started building that cultural capital and getting more involved. Then education made more sense to me. Then I can see its true value. But prior to that, it wasn't involved in my life. We were also broke. I wouldn't say poor, because again, like I feel like it's relative in a lot of cases. But definitely I never went on any field trips, never participated in anything like that, barely did sports. I played outside and I was in the house. I was pretty much a latchkey kid.
Yeah.
And so I say all that because I think all of those things play into this. We started this conversation talking about money and why that's such a big barrier. And it gets into this conversation that I have on the board here. Who can afford to dream? I don't think everyone... I feel like the idea or the goal is to attend college for something that is truly interesting to you, regardless of what it is. If it's underwater basket weaving, if they have a major for that, let me hit that up. But we are driven by this stupid profit motive and under this system of capitalism. And so now we're pushed to look into education that will only provide us money in the end. And so some of the research that we have in front of us talks about working class students and upper class students and the incentives. And so the research tells us that working class students have a higher expectation to pursue degrees that will produce wealth, like wealth generating education. So like working class students are pushed to go to engineering, are pushed to go into like the medical field, like nursing, or become doctors, or like how many kids have you spoken to that want to be phlebotomists or that want to be anesthesiologists?
Yep.
Those things.
Or physical therapists.
Yes. Or how many high school students, especially today, how many high school students are told to go on that College Board website or search up like top 10 jobs, top 10 careers, and take it that way. And then what do you have? You have a lot of kids saying, well, I'm going to be a doctor. I'm going to go do this because they make this amount of money. And so that's the expectation for working class students because they don't have the money to enjoy their dreams and their goals. And so they have to go into those careers. On the flip side, upper class students, they already have the resources. They have the cultural capital. They even have the social capital from their parents and their systems and wherever they live and things like that. And so, yeah, you'll have a lot of them.
They have those fallbacks.
Yes.
Like, okay, man, I fucked this up. I can't pay my rent. Well, I know that my dad will be able to cover it, or my mom or my grandma or whoever.
Mm-hmm. And it'll all work out in the end. I know that. And that's where you get the divide. So yeah, you have a lot of these upper class students. I hate the upper class moniker. I'll think of something different. But you have these students that, by and large, a lot of them go into like business and go into tech and whatever. But a lot of them can just go into creative writing. Yeah. They can just go into liberal arts. Like this is not a knock on liberal arts. It's a reflection of the incentive in life to pursue that. And I mean, when I go into sociology, like I knew good and damn well, like I did not go into sociology for the money. Like I think and I know this has to do with me being older, but like I've just accepted, like I will never make money. I will never retire. I will probably never own a home. So fuck it. Like I'm going to go in because I am passionate about it and I love it. And maybe it's like my little like revolt or whatever. But like, yeah, from the get-go, I knew because before sociology, it was English and I knew I wasn't going to make money there. I was the same way. I was an English major too. And so maybe that's made it easier. And like why I've never doubted my major is because, I've accepted, my economic status from the get-go. Mm-hmm. And I've always had this economic status, so it's not like it's anything new for me. Yeah. So that begs the question, is college just a mechanism to make workers for the economy? So this is interesting because I was just telling my kids the other day, because I'm a fun mom, about how... because they hate school, and it's because they're just sitting there for 8 hours. I mean, of course, they get like their little 15, 20-minute recess or whatever. Mm-hmm. But I've always firmly believed, like, they train us from the start to be workers. Like, to sit in a desk for 8 hours, to follow rules, to understand authority figures, to Mr. this, Mrs. that, and... you stay quiet when in this situation and, this sucks, but you just got to buckle down and do it anyways. And I think that college is just kind of a continuation of that. Mm. But then what's interesting is if you think about, and I'm not like a Marxist professional by any means, but if we look at like, is it historical materialism? Like history shifts based on the economy or something like that. Okay. But it makes me think of when Whitmer passed like the free community college stuff or bill or whatever that paid for community college. Mm-hmm. They did it because we need jobs. And
it was like, well, let's get these people trained, right? And let's get them working. And so there's like an economic incentive behind the free college.
Yes.
Like it's not just to let
Because
everyone chase their dreams.
we love our people. Yes.
Right.
Yes,
like
yes.
there's an economic reasoning for the free college. And that college also includes like trades and things like that. Like you can go to a community college and, I don't know, take like a welding class or whatever. Like it doesn't have to be, you know, like a science or English or whatever. But yeah, it's...
Yeah.
And God correct me if I'm wrong about the way I explained the Marxism paper.
Well, I mean, you can look up real quick while I kind of connect this thought that just hit me with. I always feel like there's this back and forth shift, not culturally, but just every few years, it's like, hey, go to college, go get into coding, do all that stuff like that. Holy crap, we don't have many solar panel technicians. We don't have any engineers. We don't have...
need like people in airports.
Go to trade school. Yeah, go back to trade school. Okay, everybody's in trade school. Oh man, we need more tech people. And it feels like it's just a constant
Well,
back
now
and forth.
those jobs are paying more. So actually, yeah, I will go be an HVAC specialist.
Right. And it makes me wonder, does the value society places on these specific careers, does that play into this conversation as well?
What do you mean?
Because you can be an HVAC technician. They make a lot of money. They make, I don't say a lot of money. They make good money.
Yeah.
They make really good money, stability and things like that.
Waste management.
But I don't hear too many colleges putting that on the front of their websites or on the curriculum that they offer. I don't see that. I don't know. I don't want to say it's gatekeeping, but I don't know if it's just the perspective. I don't even know where I'm going, trying to chase that thought.
It makes me think though, like when I worked at Delta, like and would, you know, meet with students and stuff like that, a lot of them, they hear free community college and they're like, okay, I'm going to go. And then it is like a lot of things aren't taken into consideration. So we start putting classes online and having, you know, asynchronous courses and for flexibility and everybody's got life and blah, blah, blah. But then what's happening is, especially in community colleges, you have a lot of non-traditional students, a lot of older students, a lot of parents, a lot of students with familial responsibilities and things like that. And oftentimes with big gaps in education. So then they're stuck, like they've suddenly apply, blah, 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 register for classes, and they're stuck online with this contraption that they don't really know how to use the way that it needs to be used. They don't know how to be a student. They don't know how to do school because either nobody's taught them or it's been such a long gap since they were last in school, or technology, like, different, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and it's
intimidating.
Exactly. And so then if you have students, like the number of students I've come in that have just like, college just isn't for me. Like, this isn't for me. I'm not made, like, I can't do this. And then I would bring up, well, what's something that you would like, let's look, like there's trades here. Like you can get certifications and no clue that was also an option. And like, I'm just like, dude, if you need like a job, like you can get like an office professional certification in like 6 months. Like there's options there. And I think the way that all of this is framed or phrased is that it has to be university. It has to be a STEM. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it has to be in a city.
Yeah. And it looks a certain way. And I would assume it looks a certain way in someone's head. You hear college, you think of, oh man, it's a big building. I got a schedule to keep. I have to sit in a classroom. I have assignments. I have all this other stuff. And I don't think that's for me because I don't feel like I'm smart enough because my K through 12 education, I barely made it. I come home, we're barely able to eat and things like that. And so what I need to focus on right now is how to get this money.
Yeah.
College 4+ at least 4 years.
Yeah.
And plus, yeah, that's even get into graduation rates because how many people graduate within 4 years?
Right. It's one thing to start college.
Yes. And so I can see why people are like, yeah, I'm just gonna not go to college instead and go to work, and that'll be it until either something changes or what have you.
Or you have the opposite where it's, I'm not going to wait, even though I have all of these things going on around me.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I mean, there's a lot of times I've talked to students before too, where they'll vanish for 2 weeks and sorry, I came out of it, I was in a really bad depression and blah, blah, blah. How do I, and I'm like, so maybe you shouldn't be in school just yet. Like, it's okay to take a break. Like, who invented this number that like we have to be 23 when we graduate and go off into the work field or workforce? Like, there's no rush. And I know for me, I get overwhelmed and like that imposter syndrome because I'm not where other 38-year-olds are at.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll never be where they're at, and even though I've got all of this other shit going on, like I'm still going to go to school. And then something's going to fall off the burner or whatever you would say there.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Because you made the point like, okay, so who wrote these rules that say you have to get in within 3 years? And I wonder if it's more of a desperation kind of thing than anything. Because, like my life circumstances right now do not facilitate me becoming a college student. But if I don't go to college, plus what you can fill out your FAFSA and get some money that way and things like that to go to college, things like that. But like if I don't do it, I'm just kind of kicking the can down the road and I'll never get to the level that I want to get to. So I have to make these sacrifices now. Yeah. Even if I'm not going to pass any of my classes, I'm still in there fighting for it and things like that.
I'm not understanding, I'm not comprehending anything or gaining skills, but I'm here.
I'm here because I'm supposed to be here and because everyone tells me it's the best option for me right now or something along those lines. Maybe it's incentives. Maybe it's obviously the money aspect of it, because if I feel like money buys you freedom to express. Yeah. And I'll just leave it at that. Money buys you freedom to express. And it buys you freedom to
dedicate, like, time. Mm-hmm. It buys you time. Really, because like if you have money and you're not having to worry about going and Ubering for 6 hours so that you can make enough money to whatever, you have more time to dedicate to studying or whatever, if there's extracurriculars or whatever it is. And if you're just like, I do not know how students take 4 or 5 classes, work full time, get home at 2 a.m., do home, like my eyes fall out at 5. Mm-mm. And I hate to complain like the struggles that I have as a single parent, because while they're valid, like we're all struggling some way. And I think, I don't know, maybe it's just being a millennial. Like I think I just show that anxiety a little bit more than, younger generations do. Mm.
Yeah, and so the overall question that I asked at the top was, who can afford to dream? And this conversation that we're having is why. Because if I don't have the money, if I'm struggling to survive, trying to pay bills, what have you, or even if I'm a kid and my parents don't have the money to do all these things, how do I have the mental space to figure out what it is that I want to do with my life? Right. I mean, heck, that's how I felt when I retired from the military. I'm like,
I still feel that. Like, what am I going to do when I grow up? I don't, I cry randomly because I graduate and, after the fall, and I'm just like, I got nothing. Like, I don't know what I'm doing, where I'm going, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. And
that sucks. That's a horrible feeling to dedicate 4 or 5 years of your life to a degree and then you don't know what the fuck you're doing after. Mm-hmm. And then it's like, I understand it's my fault, but who else am I blaming?
Yeah. Because
it's not just me.
You have to question the motivations behind it. Not like saying like, oh, you good with that? But like, why did she make this decision? Well, because X, Y, and Z, because she needs and things like that. And if this conversation feels rambly, it's because we want you, the listeners and the viewers, to just go deeper. If you're a college student or if you're thinking about college or what have you, think about some of your motivations. Think about some of the barriers behind why you can or cannot attend. Think about your motivations behind your degree program. Is it because you enjoy it and because you make some money, or is it a combination of both, or is it neither, or is it because someone told you, or you're trying to figure it out, things like that. And think about where you are in life. Think about where you've grown up. Think about all of these circumstances, all of these things that have gone into where you are now, making this decision right now, and acknowledge and appreciate how much truly goes into what seems like just a one-off decision, like, I go to college. No, there's years, even generations for a lot of families. There's a lot behind that one decision. And what we want from this episode and from the podcast overall is to ask questions of what led to these decisions, these environments, these groups, these what have you, whatever phenomena kind of comes up. Ask questions of those things and acknowledge that. Because it's not just about you, it's about all of you being us.
It's about you and the extensions of you.
It's not just you, it's all of you.
Exactly.
To include me.
So too, thinking about like motivations and reasons for going to school. So like I just mentioned, like I graduate soon and I want to go to grad school. I would like to continue on until I get my PhD because I just fucking love learning and I'm really good at it. Like I can't convey things all the time and I'm not like a great public speaker or anything, but like I'm really good at learning. And I think about grad school and the financial aspect, and I think about the Department of Education recently cutting that list of professional occupations.
Okay, I remember this.
And so then if some occupations are no longer considered professional, and that impacts students' ability to get funding for those programs. And correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's master's degrees are like a pain in the ass to get funded. Like I think, because I know I'm looking for a PhD program where I can pick up my master's because PhD programs, from my understanding, are funded. They give you kind of like a stipend, I guess. I don't know. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. But like I think about that in itself is a barrier to even higher education, which should realistically, like every degree gives you another $1 million a lifetime? I swear to God, that's a statistic.
No idea.
I think it's like for every degree you obtain, you get like $1 million more within your lifetime, like overall.
Okay, all right.
I could find one of those things. I'll follow up. But like you get a substantial amount, in theory, of more money, more income.
Yeah, or like potential income kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the concept of income. And so, like, if we can't obtain aid as easily, if we can't, like, and then we're depending on loans, like, that light at the end of the tunnel is, like, now blocked by, like, a big stack of bills and debt. And for what? Like, if I choose, like, if I can get into a grad program, I will not be staying in this location because it's not financially, like, my return on investment for getting a grad degree, I'm not going to get that ROI staying in Flint or Saginaw.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to pay more for the degree than I'm actually going to get paid annually. If that, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And so then it's like, well, why do you want to do this?